right, let's talk about the markets and what's been going on. First one, Bitcoin getting pummeled recently, down to 66,500 because Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy fame, one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world, for the first time ever, sold $2 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, he owns many, many billions. But the market kind of freaked out because if Saylor is selling, then things potentially get a little bit tricky. The MicroStrategy stock got hit much harder, but this kind of triggered, it seems, a general sell-off across the major. Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol all down in the short term. Hopefully we're going to see them bounce back up. Gold, mostly flat. Oil, up a little bit, still close to $100 if you can believe it, thanks to this goddamn war. And then there's one thing that's very nicely green here, which is the Jupiter token itself, just above 21 cents right now, outperforming Sol on the year, which is really great to see. I do believe, in large part due to the net zero emissions proposal that the DAO passed a few months ago, kind of creating a very unique investor profile for a token for investors. That's not financial advice, obviously. Outside of that, some of the cross-sector indices. I wanted to show this because I think this is actually pretty interesting. So privacy is the top performing category recently. Obviously, Zcash and Near have been on a tear. You can trade both of those on Jupiter using Jupiter Mobile, the extension wallet, or anything else very easily. Privacy, very clearly one of the major themes of this alt cycle. I don't even know what to call it right now. We're kind of seeing this divergence that's interesting, this kind of tale of two cities, where a lot of the majors, Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, having a somewhat difficult time right now. And then you're seeing some of these alts like really shoot up and outperform. Who knows how long that's going to last? Again, I don't give financial advice on this, but typically, as altcoin dominance goes up, that's good for a lot of different projects. 4 tokens of this cycle that seem that a lot of people are talking about, at least: Zcash, Near, Hype, and VVV are all there, and soon Juke as well. We're seeing a lot of action there. Launchpads, mostly flat. AI agents doing all right. DeFi, still having a tough time. There's been kind of a reduction in borrow across the ecosystem, both on EVM and in Solana. So you're seeing less kind of DeFi activity there. And Perp's a little bit down only because it's kind of weighted by all the different projects that are out there. Even though Jupe and Hype are up, as a sector, it's going down a little bit. The key idea though, like for you guys who are watching this right now, you want to be starting to look for some alpha, right? Like the bear markets are oftentimes when the biggest gains are created. And so keep an eye to the street. A few things to note about the markets overall here. First is a major change actually from the beginning of this year that you should be aware of if you are participating in markets, which is we are now pricing in a Fed rate hike rather than rate cuts. Coming into the year, we were expecting to have 2 rate cuts actually this year. This is what you were seeing across prediction markets and prices of all sorts of different financial assets. The federal interest rate, of course, is the primary interest rate that matters on the treasuries that affects everything downstream of it. Normally, when the rates go down, growth gets higher because people, instead of parking money in treasuries, will end up reinvesting it into other productive areas of the economy. And then when rates go up, typically you see growth go down a little bit. They are inversely related since more capital will just go into higher yielding treasuries. This has been a surprise to a lot of people who are watching this. As I say, at the beginning of the year, we were expecting 2 rate cuts over the course of the year, and now we're looking at a hike. Why? Well, quite honestly, it all comes down to the bombs that are blasting above my head from time to time here in Dubai. The Iran war, right? So about 40% of the inflation that we saw in April can be directly attributed to energy prices. And the tough thing about energy is that it ends up being a tax on the entire economy. When energy prices go up, shipping is more expensive, manufacturing is more expensive, airlines, utilities, all sorts of things go up in price, which makes it harder, kind of overheats a little bit in the economy, and this is not great. And so kind of battle some of this inflation, the Fed might have to do a rate hike. If they do a rate hike, you might expect to see lower growth. You might, again, not financial advice. In other kind of macro news that definitely affects crypto, the Clarity Act has cleared the Senate Banking Committee. This is a huge deal. Many people said could not be done. Of course, this is just the first step. If you missed it, we actually have some nice videos on YouTube explaining what Clarity is all about, what it actually means. In short, it makes it much easier. It provides clarity. It's a good name. I will say Trump and his team, very good at naming things. This is a way for people to know who are the regulators for which parts of the industry. It makes it much easier for people to operate. After this, it's going to hit the Senate floor. If this passes the Senate floor and the House, I think you can expect to see a ton of innovation in the crypto sector. One other piece of macroeconomic news I think is kind of crazy. Korean's KOSPI is up 189% in the last 12 months. This is just absolutely wild. To the degree that people are trading in Korean markets, you would know this, but Samsung and SK Hynix, both in the AI chip space, absolutely blasting upwards. What you're seeing, what this is kind of indicative of, other markets outside of the US seeing extreme growth right now. I think Israel's stock market is also up dramatically, as are a few other places. Those of you who are hunting alpha, might be worth looking at what other parts of the AI supply chain might be constrained. In the Solana specific news, new all-time high on Solana RWAs, 2.8 billion. This is very, very good news. Growing over 12x in the last 16 months. Unbelievable. Shout out to my guy, Nick Dukoff, and many other people at the Solana Foundation making this happen, along with great people across the ecosystem. My favorite part of this, though, 98% of all tokenized equity spot trading is happening where? It's happening on Solana, obviously. And if it's happening on Solana, it's largely happening on Jupiter as well. Let's just put that out there too. Perp DEXs have been growing like crazy, 20 billion in weekly volume. It's pretty wild, all-time high for Solana. And stablecoins are up past 300 billion now, which is incredible. $28 trillion in transfer volume in Q1. $28 trillion, that's nuts. So these are all good signs for more liquidity markets to be coming on chain.